Hey Faye, why do you look like a drug dealer or like a really hip real estate agent? I have a job. I have a new job. Welcome back to my channel, where I apparently wear jackets now. I'm so physically exhausted, so emotionally exhausted. I don't know what to do with myself. For that reason, I'm going to make a small announcement before I actually get to the video. I'm probably going to reduce the number of videos because in summer I had more or less unlimited time. But I'm going to reduce the number of videos that I'm doing to maybe 2 times a week rather than 3 times a week. It's a bit too much for me because I have my 9 to 5 and it's technically it's more than 9 to 5 because it takes me an hour to get there. But it's very exhausting and I don't have enough time, and I want to work on my other projects. I have like a little board going like behind the camera. No, you can't see it, but I have a little board of things that I need to get done, and hopefully I will start that today. And I'm kind of dreading starting it today, but I need to start it because I know if once I start it, I can get it all done. Maybe not exactly like right now, but soon. So with that announcement out of the way, I'm sorry. I know that a lot of you enjoy my content and I know a lot of you anticipate my content, but I really cannot do 3 days a week. And as is, I only have one patron who's paid me $20. And thank you so much for that, by the way, Sean. I appreciate that so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. But for the most part, for most of my audience, for 700 of my subscribers that I now have, thank you again for subscribing. Y'all don't pay me. So I have to kind of manage this while I work. But I would like to say that for a Monday, people are getting offended like they're not tired. I don't understand. And I'm not going to address that. I don't think it's worth a video. I think the drama is stupid and it's just unnecessary. So I would rather talk about this because I think that this is more important. And I would like to talk about hell. Hell, whether that be the Christian hell, the Muslim hell, the Viking hell, whichever hell. Hell. I want to talk about hell. Because I got asked this a few times by a few different people in the last couple of weeks, that, what if it's all real? And I would like to preface this by saying that in the last week I did like 3 different podcasts, all of which will be linked below. I did one with David Worley. We also did a fundraiser for, saving the rainforest, which was great. You should check that out. I did another podcast with the Great Debate community, which I will link down below. I love those guys and I'm really excited to get back on their podcast because honestly, it was one of the best conversations I ever had. Thank you for having me. And the third podcast that I was on was the Jinn and Tonic show, and I really enjoyed that one as well. And they asked me, like, what if it was all real? Like, what would you say? And I was asked by a few different users who DM'd me and they, confided in me by saying that they found the reality of hell really, really terrifying and they didn't know how to deal with it. Despite the fact that they didn't believe in a god, that fear of hell was still ingrained in them. I would like to say, I mean, I can only talk from personal experience, but hell was something that really drove me to stay in Islam longer than I should have. When all of it started falling apart, like the idea of God, the idea of, God being all loving, especially, the only thing that kept me in Islam for as long as it did was the fear of burning in hell forever. And I think that that is intentionally ingrained into Muslims, especially at a young age, and actually the early Muslims as well, because for those of you who don't know how the Quran was revealed in stages over a course of 23 years, but the first 10 years of Muhammad's message while they were in Makkah, which is why those verses are called Makki verses. And most of those verses are about worship and, the reality of hell and heaven. I say reality, but you know what I mean. The inevitability of hell and heaven. So that is normally how Islam is taught as well. You are given this fear of hell and this dream or this, goal of heaven. and that's what you aim for, and then you start learning about all the other shit. But the main thing is that, you know, the goal is get to heaven. I had this discussion a long time ago with a Muslim on Twitter, and we had a very civil discussion about it, and he had asked me the same thing, that, okay, I get that you don't believe in this, I get that you don't understand that, I get, like, he says understand, I get it all. Look at me, I'm a news reporter, I mean, I'm fully kidding, I'm so tired, sorry. But he asked me, like, okay, I mean, let's put all of that to a side. What if it is all real and you actually are going to go to hell after you die? What if it's all real and that's something that is actually going to happen to you? And I asked him a simple question, and it's a question that I feel like most religions who have like a deity or deities would be able to answer in the same way. I simply asked him, is your God merciful? And I mean, objectively, Allah is not a merciful God in the slightest. Like, he is not a merciful God, but that's not what Muslims believe. And I asked him, is Allah merciful? Is your God merciful? And he, of course, said, yes, God is merciful. And I told him that I don't believe that a merciful God would burn me in hell forever simply because I didn't believe in him, you know? All of the actions that I have made since leaving Islam have been well-intentioned, have been for the benefit of people, you know. Everything I have done, every step that I have taken, besides the, you know, indulgent ones, I guess, where I just want to have fun, every single step that I have taken has been for the good of my community, myself, and my general world around me. Everything I have done is good, so why would a merciful God simply punish me because I don't believe in him? And if that God is petty enough to burn me anyway because I didn't believe in him, then he is not worthy of my worship, and I would rather burn in hell with good people like me. I would rather you know, burn in hell with people who were good, who just didn't believe in him because he wasn't worthy of worship, and he isn't worthy of worship. I would rather burn in hell with them than, you know, spend my eternity in paradise with people who just followed some arbitrary rules and believed in a God who didn't deserve any worship. And I think it really is as simple as that sometimes. And I know it's really difficult because fear is one of those emotions that's kind of all-encompassing. It's kind of difficult to, you know, go ahead and confront that. But I have come to terms with that. I feel as though burning in hell really is a hill to die on. Like, burning in hell with good people, you know, people that I know are ex-Muslims, for example, or people I know will never become Muslims, ever. Just, it's a fact. They're never going to do it. But they're good people. Why would I want to spend eternity in heaven with people who aren't those people? Like, why? Why would I want to do that? It doesn't make any sense. Yes, maybe it will be painful or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't exist. Hypothetically, it would be painful. But why would I want to be in a good place with terrible people when I could be in a bad place with the best people? You know? Logically, in my brain, that makes sense. And I think, I mean, while I was talking to that Muslim guy, that epiphany actually struck me, and I've sort of held to that. And I think it gave me the courage to actually start blaspheming, because before that, I was actually quite terrified of blaspheming, because I don't know what was going to happen, but I started, and I haven't stopped since. And it's just, again, it's not like I still believe in it. It's just this residual fear that you have from being in religion. You know, I've made my peace with it, and I hope that anyone who is listening, and I know that this is a very short video, I hope that anyone who is listening can also find peace in it, because it's that reality, and this is another thing, I really feel as though religion and morality need a fucking divorce. Like, they are not the same thing, and people need to stop acting as though they are the same thing. People need to stop acting as though religion and morality are like synonymous. They aren't. They aren't together. They broke up a long time ago. Religion, like in Islam, like when I was a Salafi when I was fundamentalist Faye, I'm gonna make that a thing. When I was fundamentalist Faye, okay, when I was a fundamentalist, I believed all kinds of crazy shit was okay. You know, Muhammad marrying a fucking 6-year-old. Forget everyone else. Muhammad marrying a 6-year-old. Okay. How is that okay? Muhammad owning slaves. Okay. How is that okay? You know, Allah drowning an entire nation. Allah destroying entire nations. Okay, fine. There is no morality there. It's just this fear of, oh, if I go against that, I'm going to burn in hell forever. And to be honest, that is not morality. It is not. Simply simple and plain. And something else that I said on the Jinn and Tonic show, and you should 100% go and listen to my podcast because it's me and y'all love me. But something else that I said while I was on that show was that we as people, when we are oppressed collectively, we fight that oppression because we don't deserve it. We fight that oppression because we don't deserve it. Okay, maybe it takes us a long time. Maybe it, takes us a long time to gather the strength to actually, like, fuck shit up, when there's a tyrant that's oppressing us, when there's, like, an entire regime that's oppressing us, when there are, social justice things, racism, things like that. We fight against that stuff all the time, regardless sometimes of what happens to us because of it. Rosa Parks sits on a bus, starts an entire movement. She could have easily been like, oh, my life would be so much easier if I just walked over there and sat down. But she started an entire movement. We as people fight oppressors, but somehow in our brains, we think that it is okay to just bow down to a cruel God. And I honestly think that that is disgusting. Like, it is... I am disgusted with the past version of myself that was so terrified of just being like, fuck you, I'm gonna live my life. And again, I want to reiterate, I don't believe in him. I'm just saying that if he did exist, why would we put up with him? Why? Like, because he created us? So what? So fucking what? So fucking what? If he exists, and this is the way that he chooses to treat us, we should be fighting him. I'm sorry. We should be. We should be, because he is a cruel God. And obviously this is all hypothetical. None of this exists. This entire video is about a fictional place where people go to burn for eternity. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the things that don't exist. And I know that's easier said than done. But it will take time, but sometimes it's that simple, and I don't really know how else to answer that. It's gonna take time. It took me a few years to get over it, and I think what I've found is that the more I talk about it, like, I have this fear of hell, and I have this fear of, like, people's, pus being poured into my mouth, and hot oil being thrown into me, and, standing on hot coals that are so hot they'll boil my brain, or being put into an oven, like, all of those things. The more you talk about it, I feel like the more ridiculous it feels to you, and then you slowly get over it. I don't know. That's how it worked for me. And then when I came to that epiphany, and I decided, yeah, I would 100%, if it was real, if it was all real, like Allah is the real God, and like hell and heaven are real, like if it was all real, I would 100% still want, like, I would not go to heaven if it was offered to me. Why would I want to spend time there? Why anytime? Like, why would I want 5 minutes in a place like that where there's servant boys? Like, why would I want that? It sounds like garbage, honestly. Set me on fire any day. Fuck that place. Again, I apologize, and I know this video is quite short compared to my normal videos, but I just wanted something easy to do today. Let me tell you about my week. Okay, came back from Amsterdam. Had to start working the next day because my previous contract got fucked up, and I got a different job from my agency, and they said, if you don't start today, like this day, you're not going to have any work. I don't have any money. So I was like, okay, I'll go into work. And I started at this place, and it's a really good place. I made a few Muslim friends, and it's the most liberating experience ever because they're so accepting of me, and they know I'm an ex-Muslim. Muharram rolled around, and I made so many Ashura jokes. Oh my God. It felt so good to just like say that out in the open, just like in public, like not amongst ex-Muslims. It felt so good. And yeah, I'm really getting along in that place. And I really like it. It's just very tiring because I have to wake up earlier to get there. The journey is quite tiring because there's a lot of changes. And then coming home, I just feel emotionally drained and I don't want to do anything, but I have things to do. I think I'm more or less over my I'm too tired to do anything bullshit. I think I'm finally going to crack down and I'm going to get to stuff. I have like a list of things, like behind this camera there is a whiteboard with a list of things for me to do, and I'm gonna do them. So for those of you who are waiting for shit, you'll probably have to wait for a little bit longer, but not that much longer because I'm gonna get to it. Thank you. I would like to say a special thank you to everyone who watched my Awesome Without Allah video, watched my hate comments video, and, you know, just enjoyed it because I enjoyed making those. And I enjoyed the response immensely. So thank you for that. Thank you and welcome to all my new subscribers. I'm sorry that this is the first video that you will see. And it's kind of a mess, but that's welcome to my channel. That is my aesthetic. It's just a mess. Look at I'm like crying in most of my videos. So, I mean, this is a step up, actually. And I would like to, again, say, and I will continue to say, that I now have a Patreon that you can support me at. I have a PayPal account that you can support me at. All of the links are in the description below. Please do support me if you wish. There is no obligation to support me in the slightest. If you do not like me, dislike this video, unsubscribe, roast me on Twitter, roast me in the comments, roast me. You know, tell me, give me your feeling. It's better out than in. But if you do like me, if you do love me, if you want to support me, please do support me on my Patreon, or you can make a direct payment to me through my PayPal account. Or if, you know, if that's not your thing and you don't want to support me monetarily, which is absolutely fine. I am fine. I am not in crisis. I do not need your money. I am just asking. If you want to support, you can. And if you would just like to support me in other ways, please do subscribe. Please do like the video, comment, share, do your thing. It's YouTube. You know the deal. But thank you for joining me, and I will hope to see you in the next one. I really, really, really want to record my video about Amsterdam and getting high. Again, disclaimer, I'm not encouraging anyone to get high. I just want to share an experience. That's just for YouTube. But I really want to do that storytime video, so that's probably going to be the next one. So for those of you who are anticipating that, you're welcome, my children. But yes, and please do check out those podcasts because they were amazing. They're like 2 hours long each. So those of you who love like long podcasts, you're in for a treat. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope that your fear of hell is not so great. And I hope that if it was, it's a little less now. And yeah, I'll see you motherfuckers in hell. I love you. I support you deeply. And I will see you in the next video where we talk some more about Amsterdam. Goodbye.